Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the English Speaking Podcast. My name is Emma, and I'm so happy you're here with us today. This is the place where we learn simple, practical English, the kind of English you can actually use in real life, not just in textbooks.
And I'm Daniel. Wherever you're listening from around the world, welcome back to the English Speaking Podcast. We're really glad you're here learning English with us in a relaxed and friendly way.
So, Daniel, how are you doing today? How was your week? Have you been busy with work or studying?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks, Emma. This week was a little busy, but nothing too stressful. I'm trying to slow down today and enjoy a quieter moment. What about you? Any interesting plans lately?
I'm doing good too. Yesterday was really peaceful, and tomorrow I'm planning to spend some quiet time at home, maybe reading or just relaxing.
That actually sounds perfect. And when we talk about plans, ideas, or things that may or may not happen, there's one small word that often confuses English learners.
Yes, exactly. Today we're going to talk about the word would.
Many learners understand would when they hear it, but they're not always confident using it when they speak.
So, in today's lesson, we're going to make would feel simple and natural. No heavy grammar, no complicated rules.
Just real English, natural examples, and situations you can actually use in daily life.
And if you enjoy learning English with us, stay with us until the end. Let's begin. So before we jump into grammar or sentence structures, let's slow down for a moment and really feel the word would. Because English is not only about rules, it's also about feeling comfortable and natural when you speak.
Yes, that's so important. Many learners ask, what is the rule for would? But sometimes a better question is, how does would feel when people use it in real life?
Exactly. When native speakers use would, the feeling is usually softer. It sounds more polite, more gentle, and less direct.
Right. It often feels less certain too. It's like you're not pushing the sentence too strongly. You're leaving a little space.
I like that idea, leaving space. Sometimes that space is for imagination, sometimes it's for politeness, and sometimes it's because the situation depends on something else.
Let's compare two very simple sentences and listen carefully to the feeling.
Okay, first sentence, I will help you.
That sounds strong and clear. It feels like a decision. You've already decided and you're sure about it.
Now listen to this one, I would help you.
Immediately, it feels different, softer, like maybe there's a condition behind it.
Yes, it can mean I want to help you, but maybe I can't right now. Or I would help you if I had more time.
So even though both sentences talk about helping, the feeling is not the same at all.
Exactly. Will feels real and certain. Would often feels imagined or conditional.
And sometimes would even takes us back to the past.
Yes, that's another important use. For example, he said he would call me. That sentence is about the past, but it talks about what someone promised for the future at that time.
So you can see already that would is very flexible.
Let's also notice something else. When we use would, our tone usually becomes softer. For example, instead of saying, give me the menu, we say, I would like the menu.
That sounds much more polite.
Exactly. So if you remember just one thing right now, remember this feeling. Would is gentle, polite, and often a little less certain.
Yes, don't worry about memorizing complicated grammar names yet. Just focus on that emotional difference.
When you start to feel the difference between will and would, your English will instantly sound more natural.
And that's our goal here on the English Speaking Podcast. Not perfect textbook English, but real, comfortable English.
So now that we've understood the feeling behind would, let's move to one of the most common ways people use it in everyday conversations. So now that we understand the feeling behind would, let's talk about one of the most common and useful ways people use it in daily life, and that is for being polite.
Yes, and this is probably the use you will hear the most in real conversations. If you want to sound kind, respectful, and friendly, would is your best friend.
Exactly. Let's start with polite requests. Imagine you're in a room and it's a little cold. You could say, close the window.
That sounds very direct.
Yes, not wrong, but very direct. Now listen to this. Would you close the window?
That already sounds softer and more respectful. It feels like you're giving the other person a choice.
Right, you're not ordering, you're asking politely.
And that's why would is so powerful. It changes the tone of the sentence without changing the basic meaning.
Let's try another example. Instead of saying, help me, you can say, would you help me?
Or even softer, would you mind helping me?
Oh, yes, that one is very common. Would you mind is extremely polite and very natural.
You'll hear it everywhere, at work, in shops, at school.
Now let's talk about offers. This is when you want to give something or do something for someone.
For example, when a guest comes to your house, you don't usually say, "Do you want tea?"
Instead, you say, would you like some tea?
That sounds warmer and more welcoming.
Exactly. Would you like is much more polite than do you want?
And here's a small tip. Would like is very close to want, but it sounds more respectful.
So instead of saying, I want some water, try saying, I would like some water.
Or the shorter, more natural spoken form, "I'd like some water."
Yes, that contraction, I'd, is very common in spoken English. Most native speakers don't say, I would like fully. They say, I'd like.
Let's practice a few more examples.
Okay, imagine you're ordering food at a restaurant.
You could say, "I'd like the chicken, please."
Perfect. Now imagine your friend needs help moving to a new apartment.
You could say, "I would love to help."
Oh, I like that one. Would love sounds even more positive and enthusiastic than would like.
Yes, exactly. "I'd love to help" feels warm and friendly.
So we can see a pattern here. Would helps us sound polite, kind, and less demanding.
And that's very important in English-speaking cultures. Tone matters a lot.
Yes, sometimes it's not what you say, but how you say it.
Let's compare again to really feel the difference.
Send me the file.
Very direct.
Would you send me the file?
Much more professional and polite.
Exactly. Small word, big difference.
And the great thing is you can start using this immediately, today, in your next message, in your next conversation.
Yes, try replacing can you with would you and notice how it changes the feeling.
So remember, when you want to sound more polite, more gentle, and more natural, would is the perfect choice.
And now that we've talked about politeness and requests, let's move to another very interesting use of would, one that involves imagination and what if situations. So now let's move into one of the most interesting and expressive uses of would, and that is when we talk about imaginary situations, dreams, or what if moments.
Yes, this is where would becomes really emotional and creative. It helps us talk about things that are not real right now, but possible in our imagination.
Exactly. These are the kinds of sentences people use when they're dreaming a little or thinking about a different life.
Like when you're very busy and you suddenly say, "If I had more free time, I would travel more."
That's a perfect example. Right now, maybe you don't have that free time, so it's not reality, it's imagination.
Yes, and that's the key. When we use would in these sentences, we are talking about something that depends on another condition.
Let's break that down. In this sentence, if I had more free time, I would travel more. The condition is if I had more free time.
And the result, the imagined result, is I would travel more.
Exactly. So would often comes in sentences with if.
Let's try another one. If I had more money, I would buy a bigger house.
That sounds nice.
It does, but again, it's not real at the moment. It's just an idea in your mind.
Right. So when you hear would like this, think imagination, possibility, not reality.
Let's make it even more personal. Emma, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I would live somewhere near the sea.
That sounds peaceful.
Yes, and notice I didn't say I will live because I'm not making a real plan. I'm imagining.
Exactly. That's why would fits perfectly.
Here's another common example. It would be amazing to work from home.
That sentence feels warm and dreamy.
Yes, it expresses a wish, not a promise.
We can also say, I would love to learn another language.
Again, that's a desire or dream, not necessarily something happening now.
So, anytime you're talking about dreams, wishes, or imaginary futures, would is your friend.
Let's practice a few more.
Okay.
I would play basketball if I were taller.
If I didn't have to work tomorrow, I would sleep all day.
That one sounds very tempting.
It does.
Notice something else. When we use would in these imaginary sentences, the tone is softer and thoughtful.
Yes, it invites the listener into your imagination. It feels personal.
And that's why this structure is so common in conversations. People love talking about what-if situations.
Yes, like what would you do if you won the lottery?
That's a classic question.
Or where would you travel if you could go anywhere?
These questions are everywhere, in games, interviews, even casual chats with friends.
And every answer will probably include would.
Exactly. I would travel the world. I would start a business. I would help my family.
So don't be afraid of these sentences. They're not complicated once you understand the feeling.
The formula is simple. Imagine something unreal or unlikely, then use would to describe the result.
And remember, this is not about memorizing grammar terms. It's about recognizing that you're talking about imagination.
When you feel that difference, real future versus imagined future, using would becomes much easier.
And the more you practice these would-have sentences, the more natural your English will sound.
So here's a little challenge for you listening right now.
Yes, think about this question. If you had one extra free day this week, what would you do?
Try answering it out loud. Even a simple sentence is enough.
Because every time you say would in a real sentence, you're training your brain to use it naturally.
And that's how real fluency begins, one small, meaningful sentence at a time. Now, let's gently change direction, because would is not only about imagination and dreams, it's also very important when we look back at the past.
Yes, this is where many learners get confused. They think would is only about polite requests or imaginary situations.
But actually, we also use would when we're remembering something from the past, especially past thoughts, promises, or expectations.
Exactly. For example, imagine your friend promised to call you yesterday.
You can say, he said he would call me.
That sentence already has a feeling, right? It sounds like you're remembering what someone promised in the past.
Yes, at that time, in the past, the call was in the future, so we use would as the past form of will.
That's an important idea. Would can sometimes be the past of will.
Let's try another example. I thought it would be easy.
That feels very real.
Yes, because in the past, you believed something about the future, but now you know the truth.
Maybe it wasn't easy at all.
Exactly. So when we say, I thought it would be easy, we are talking about our old expectation.
Here's another one. She promised she would help me.
Again, that promise happened in the past.
And the help was supposed to happen after that moment.
So would helps us go back in time and remember how we saw the future back then.
I really like that explanation, how we saw the future in the past.
Yes, that's the feeling.
Let's try one more. I didn't know it would be so difficult.
That sentence often carries surprise.
Yes, because in the past, you imagined one result, but reality was different.
So when we use would like this, we're not talking about imagination now, we're talking about past expectations.
Exactly.
And there's one more beautiful use of would in the past for repeated actions, especially in storytelling.
Oh, yes, this one is really natural in English.
For example, when I was a child, I would play outside every day.
That sounds warm and nostalgic.
Yes, it's not just a fact, it carries emotion and memory.
You could also say, my grandmother would tell me stories before bed.
That sentence feels cozy and full of feeling.
And here, would shows something that happened again and again in the past.
Exactly. It's similar to used to, but would often feels more emotional and story-like.
Yes, used to sounds more like a simple fact, but would feels like you're painting a picture.
That's why you'll hear it a lot in personal stories, in movies, in books, in conversations about childhood.
So let's review this part.
First, would can be the past of will, like he said he would call.
Second, it can describe past expectations, like I thought it would be easy.
And third, it can describe repeated actions in the past, like I would visit my cousins every summer.
See? One small word, but so many layers.
And when you understand these feelings, past promise, past expectation, repeated memory, would becomes much clearer.
Exactly. It stops being scary grammar and starts being natural storytelling English.
And now that we've explored politeness, imagination, and past uses, there's one final important area where would really shines, and that's when we express opinions and preferences in a soft and natural way. And now we've reached the final part of today's lesson, so let's bring everything together in a simple and clear way.
Yes, because when you look at it closely, what is not just a grammar word, it's a feeling word.
Exactly. Today we learned that would can make your English sound more polite, like when you say, "Would you help me?" or "I'd like some coffee."
We also talked about imagination, those what if situations, like if I had more time, I would travel more.
And we explored how would helps us talk about the past. For example, he said he would call, or when I was a child, I would play outside every day.
That's a lot for one small word.
It really is. But here's the good news. You don't have to memorize everything perfectly.
Yes, instead of memorizing rules, focus on using would in small, natural sentences.
Try saying, "I'd love to visit that place," or "I would rather stay home tonight."
Or even ask yourself fun questions like, where would I go if I could travel anywhere?
The more you use it in real situations, the more comfortable it will feel.
And remember, making mistakes is part of learning. Even small steps every day make a big difference.
So here's a little challenge before we finish.
Yes, tell us this. What would you do if you had one completely free day?
Think about it. Say it out loud or write it in the comments.
We love reading your answers and seeing how you practice.
If today's lesson helped you understand would more clearly, don't keep it to yourself.
Share this episode with a friend who's learning English too.
Give it a like so we know you want more lessons like this.
And of course, subscribe to the English Speaking Podcast so you never miss a new episode.
Every time you like, share, and subscribe, you help this learning community grow.
And the bigger our community becomes, the more confident English speakers we create together.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, English becomes easier when you use it every day.
Until next time,
Keep smiling, keep learning.
keep speaking with confidence.
See you in the next episode of the English Speaking Podcast.
Bye, everyone.